Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Minute, the show that answers all your questions about buying and selling in the bustling Vancouver real estate market. I'm your host and realtor, Ryan DeLuca. Today we're joined by Home Inspector Paul Oliner of Coast Mountain Home Inspections to discuss all the issues that can arise when buying and selling in new and older buildings. Paul, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Ryan.
A lot of times when either I have a client or I hear from other realtors, they have a client who are purchasing in newer buildings that still have a warranty covering them. They think they don't need to have a home inspection done, and that's often not the case. You should always have a home inspection, and why is that?
Yeah, I would really recommend inspections for any age of building. For example, the warranty is fairly limited. Its first year usually covers the suite, so I'm finding even on a lot of new builds some poor application. Especially in bathroom wet areas, we're finding problems with moisture ingress, which could lead to future problems. First off, we do a visual inspection of the grouting, the joint in between the tile and the cork seal, which is probably more important a lot of the time. Also, most inspectors have a moisture meter whereby we can check for moisture levels behind the tile. Once moisture gets in, it very often can't be seen by homeowners. After the moisture issues, we've got electrical issues. You need to make sure the outlet is ground fault protected. We have this bit of equipment which actually sets up a false trip on the ground fault just to make sure that it's operating. A lot of homeowners are not necessarily aware that this item is a safety device. It's designed if you drop something electrical in the water, it will trip the switch rather than take a whack.
Water can also be an issue in the kitchens. What sorts of problems can we look for in the kitchen?
We found, especially around the sink, if there's plumbing leaks on the faucets, can cause problems. A lot of cabinets nowadays are laminate, which is not too good around water, will swell up and cause damage. So I would test the faucets, make sure there's no leaks, check the plumbing discharge on the waste side. Also, certainly in older properties, we're looking for types of plumbing distribution which can be problematic. In this instance, we've got a newer PEX, which is good.
What are things that people need to take into account when they're having an inspection done in terms of the fireplace itself?
Certainly on a gas fire, we need to check that it's performing properly. Really important with gas, so I impress upon my clients to get it serviced annually. Gas appliances, if they're not combusting correct, can give off carbon monoxide.
And what about on an electric fireplace?
Generally, we just turn it on, make sure it's hooked up on the main panel correctly, make sure it's functioning and giving out heat.
What sorts of problems can we find when it comes to inspecting a balcony?
Yeah, again, moisture's a problem. I try and give my clients good maintenance tips. Generally, make sure the membrane's in good shape. They're easily pierced. Vinyl membranes can be pierced quite easily. Keep an eye on the flashing detail, make sure there's no moisture ingress. Certainly if there's any drain outlets, make sure they're clear. You've got to keep good drainage, keep the water away from the building.
So every time I book an inspection for a buyer of mine, I always make sure that both myself and my client read through all the minutes in the engineer's reports prior to the inspection. Is that always something important to do?
Minutes are a really good place to start. You know, I've always been impressed that you've provided me good details for the minutes. Clients good details.
How can people get in touch with you if they decide that they want to book you for a home inspection or just have general questions about home inspections?
Okay, I'd encourage people to contact me prior to booking. They can get me on 778-996-2644. I've got my own website which gives a bit of background. That's cmhomeinspection.ca.
It's been great having you today. I hope we get to have you again in the future.
Great to see you again.
So for those of you who are looking to buy or sell your home, here's a few tips you need to remember when it comes to home inspections. Tip number 1, always have a home inspection done with all resale purchases. There'll always be issues you can't see that a home inspector will be able to pick out for you. 2, if you're buying a condo, read all the minutes and engineer's reports prior to the home inspection. They may mention past and present issues that your inspector can pay special attention to during the inspection process. 3, not all buildings will allow you access to the roof or the boiler room for an inspection, so make sure you find out the age of these items and when the building is planning on replacing them. 4, an inspector is going to note even the smallest issue in the report, such as loose plug sockets or issues with a bathroom fan. Remember, some of these items are not expensive to repair, so when in doubt, just ask. 5, finally, it's important to note that an inspector will not be able to find every latent defect. That's a defect not visible to the naked eye. That is why you should use your home inspection as a guideline only to aid in the purchase of a property. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, or just an idea for a future episode, feel free to write in to nvtv@novusnow.ca. I'm your host, Ryan DeLuca, and we'll see you here next time on the Real Estate Minute.